You know, a lot of those anatomy pictures that we learnt our anatomy from come from back in the day when the anatomists used to fry up fascia for lunch, because the muscles and the tendons look so discrete. There's no fascia involved. So we see a muscle like bicep, for example, and bicep attaches, as you can see, onto the scapula. At the other end, it attaches onto the radius, and it's got this beautiful long line. Very discrete. It ends at one bone, it ends at the other bone. And as a lot of us were taught, muscles influence the joints that they cross. And that means bicep is a very powerful flexor of the elbow. It's a weaker flexor of the shoulder, and it's a supinator of the forearm. But of those, the key movement has always been that really powerful elbow flexion. And that's true. The muscle belly does the lion's share of work when you're looking at elbow flexion. But you know what? There's another way of looking at anatomy. When anatomists started looking at fascia and its relationship to muscle, they found out some pretty interesting things. In fact, when you take the body into a different position from the anatomical position and you keep the fascia on, you find that the fascia blends right across multiple areas, and it's very dependent on the position. For example, if we looked at the proximal end of bicep, and in particular, the attachment of short head of the bicep on the coracoid process of the scapula, what we find is the tendon of bicep, and tendons are made of fascia, blends in to the tendon of the pectoralis minor muscle. So bicep, in fact, becomes pectoralis minor, particularly across the superficial tissue. It's continuous. And if you take that further, we find that bicep not only shares an attachment and has a commonality with pectoralis minor at the shoulder at the proximal end, if we go way out the other end, bicep attaches to the interosseous membrane of the forearm. The fascia continues all the way into the lumpy bit at the bottom of your thumb. That's an area called the thenar eminence, meaning that bicep is part of a 3-muscle continuity. We call this a myofascial continuity. It attaches at the ribs with fascia, becomes the pectoralis minor muscle across the shoulder. It attaches to the coracoid process, then becomes the bicep brachii muscle. Then it attaches to the interosseous membrane of the forearm before becoming the thenar eminence muscles of the thumb. 3 muscle bellies and 1, 2, 3, 4 fascial attachment sites. And that allows us to have a lot of area for force production and for sharing of energy.